What's up, my legends? Just looking through this Latvia footage. I will be releasing a couple of good films off this footage. You know the way I said about I wasn't too sure about whether I wanted to make videos like this that are off the cuff. Well, I think there's no harm in making them and putting them up because they're therapeutic. I was just watching this footage, and one thing that came to my mind about Latvia was the amount of times in Latvia I ended up being horrendously drunk and horrendously hungover was, yeah, just quite a few times that happened to me, that I did that to myself. It's funny, I've never been a big drinker, and I'm lucky to say that alcohol. Oh, no, I have been a massive drinker, of course, but since the age of 22, alcohol hasn't really been part of my sort of scene. Probably because of the friends I've surrounded myself with more than anything. And I'll get to that, but I spent my early 20s going out to bars, being sober, trying to approach girls, and trying to just build my confidence. And if you use alcohol in that type of thing, it's a mask. But anyway, my early 20s, and I went back and forth and whatever, but it's never been a big part of my life. But God, in Latvia, the people I was good friends with drank, and I was also just on holidays and blah 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 blah. So, you know, I would get so shit faced. You know, I remember one time I was in a bar. I was actually at a big work thing where like one of the top three like people in the whole company, and it's a huge company, like global company, like billion dollar company, like was there to welcome the Deal or No Deal Live hosts, and it was all sort of expenses paid night out, shisha pipes and shisha pipes and like just unlimited vodka and just insane, and I just ended up getting so twisted. And I remember one time, and then we went to a karaoke bar, and it ended up just being me and this guy, my good friend Chris, who's a great guy. But I was literally remember talking to a girl, and I mean, I wasn't nervous talking to her. I just didn't have word. I probably could think of what to say. It was slow brain function. I was so drunk. But also, like, the words, my brain and my mouth weren't properly connected. And then I would be standing there sort of talking to her, and my knees just kind of buckled, and I caught myself. And then Latvia is a different place to Ireland. And, things like this can happen where, I had my phone in my hand, and she grabbed my phone out of my hand. And then I was like, "You've got my phone." She's like, "Yeah, yeah." And I was just like, "No, I don't." And I was like, "Yeah, you have my phone. Give me back my phone." And she was like, "I don't have it." She had it behind her back, and I go, "Give me back my phone. I don't have it. Give me back my fucking phone. I don't have it. I had to wrestle her for my fucking phone because I was so drunk. And listen, I've wrestled many women before. I've never been beaten in that sense. I've never fought a guy. I wouldn't be so foolish. I find just small men, really small men maybe, or women or children. But yeah, usually I'd completely have done very well against her, like, basically dominated her, no offense. But I was so drunk, it was a really close match. I got the phone back, but yeah, then like other times I would just find myself in these hungover positions where I remember when I was, so I'm a baby, so when I'm sick, my instinct is to kind of go to my mother and or go home and be looked after, and just like the family vibe is like comforting, and somebody's looking after you and bringing you shit and whatever. And I remember I was in New York in 2010, and I was 19, and like I was working there, and this girl at work, I was sick, I got sunstroke, and this girl would come into me, and She gave me fluids and stuff. Like, I've never forgotten this about that girl. I was 19 at the time. She was 28 at the time. And like, she seemed so much older, but now obviously I'm 28. So I just like, I never forgot it, but I was always afraid of like, what if I get food poisoning or a vomiting bug or something like on that level where like you say diarrhea or something where you're just in absolute ribbons and you're alone and nobody's there to look after you. And when I was in Latvia, I got so drunk one time that I kind of got like a little bit of alcohol poisoning and I was just getting sick. You know, when you get, now I don't know if it's called alcohol poisoning, but I was getting sick and I couldn't take water and da 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 da. And it was after a heavy night out and I was just getting sick and I was waking up in pain and it was this 24-hour like, and it was kind of like a boy to man experience, quite frankly, because that fear I had where what if I'm away and this happens to me? Now it didn't happen to me. I made it happen to me. I'm taking responsibility for that. But it was like a come to Jesus moment. It was like I was just me and me. It was like I was in the room, me and God, and we just had to have a little conversation about what had happened. It was insanely weird, and I got through it, and I don't know. Of course, I know how time passes and you recover, but I had so many moments like that in Latvia where I just said, please don't drink like this again, and I would do it again. And it's interesting because, you know, I have no problem. I have so many vices. Alcohol isn't really one of them at all. Like, I haven't drank, I had a couple of pints of Guinness the other day, but I haven't had more than a pint or 2 pints. You know, I've had that twice maybe since Christmas Eve. I maybe had 4 pints on Christmas Eve. Like, I don't care about drinking alcohol. It doesn't interest me, but God, man, we had some great, I remember outside Waterfest, like, went to this festival, you're going to see it here, but like, just sun beating down, and you're sitting outside a tent, and you've gotten 6 hours sleep, and you're so hungover. These are come to Jesus moments. These are moments where you have to question what your life is, you know. And unfortunately, yeah, sometimes they don't last, the mental things that go on. But I just wanted to say hi, guys, and hope you're doing so well.